New research shows the cost of doing business in California is too high, and some businesses are leaving.
Yeah, that is the main takeaway from a new survey from Claremont McKenna College. They have been tracking the migration of business for decades. ABC 10's Morgan Rynor is here now with a look at what exactly is driving the high cost here in California, Morgan.
Chris and Laura, there are a handful of reasons which I will get into, but the core issue is one that we talk about often and one that is behind some of the state's other problems like the homeless crisis. It's housing. It's too expensive for employees to find housing in California.
Ken Miller is the director of the Rose Institute of State and Local Government at Claremont McKenna College.
California continues to be an expensive place to do business. Things like the minimum wage is more than twice as high in California than in a competitive state like Texas. Taxes are higher in California. Regulations and utility costs and license fees and all those kinds of things tend to be high in California. This is a high cost state.
And then there's the cost of housing.
That's the main reason why employers are choosing to move out of state, because their employees, many of them, can't find an affordable house close to where they're working.
Businesses do come to California, 45,000 since 1990 to be more precise.
There's still reasons why businesses might want to do business here and continue to choose to do so, including a well-educated workforce, especially in the high-tech sector.
But overall, more are leaving, 65,000.
The numbers have been relatively stable over that 3-decade period, although there's been a noticeable increase over the last few years. I think one of the reasons for that, with respect to the COVID pandemic and what transpired from that, is that more and more businesses found that they could have their employees working remotely. We can relocate out of the state and avoid some of the costs of doing business in this state.
So where are these businesses going? The number one state, Texas. The number one city, Vegas.
So we're seeing that many businesses in California that are choosing to leave don't want to go all the way to the East Coast or even the Midwest. They're looking at other neighboring states where the cost of business is less.
Businesses leaving means people leaving. The U.S. Census data came out with its population report yesterday and found that California had the largest drop in population to other domestic states like Texas. Now, like Miller said, they're not going too far. Of the businesses leaving, 64% are going to cities in Nevada, Arizona, Texas, and Oregon.
Wow, Morgan, to put that in perspective, that still leaves nearly 40 million people living here. So what does Ken Miller, what does he think needs to happen to fix the population decline?
California is a progressive state, and he said there's good reasons behind putting certain environmental or labor regulations in place, but he said government needs to start thinking more collectively about how these laws impact more communities.
All right, Morgan Rynor, thank you.